Good morning and welcome to the Construction World webinar series. The topic for today is construction technologies post COVID-19. India is to be the fastest construction market in the world by 2030. But without technology, can we reach our goals? Here is a sample of what is happening. And I'll take you through my screen. Five years ago, India was ranked 185 out of 190 in construction permits. Now it has improved to 27. But enforcing contracts, we are ranked 163. Bandra Valley ceiling, 10 years to build and cost overrun from 400 crores to 1600 crores. But overseas too, Berlin airport was under construction for 9 years and to fix 66,500 errors. So the world construction industry over to $10 trillion, 90% of the projects have been late or over budget. So it's a global phenomenon, and therefore even Apple, I mean, most of us hold that phone in our hands. The headquarters was delayed by 2 years and over budget by $2 billion. So technology is there to stay, and we have to ensure that we can utilize technology to spur and accelerate what we are intending to do. New technology is transforming the way buildings are designed, as you saw in the slide, engineered, built and managed. Precast, modular construction, or even advanced technology like 3D printing, robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. can deliver business benefits, whether one is designing sustainable houses or reimagining the infrastructure of entire cities. In general, R&D spending in construction runs well behind that of other industries. Let's move on to first introducing the panel.
I will request the other panelists to keep it muted. I think it's showing.
Okay, just trying to see then how to do that.
Here are the panelists for you. Brijesh Shah from Fuji Silvertech, Mr. D.K. Sen from Larsen and Toubro, Mr. Malhotra from Shriram Automall, Mr. Sandeep Singh, President, ICEMA and Managing Director, Tata-Hitachi, and Mr. Subodh Dixit from Shapoorji, Pallonji. So Construction World, which has brought you this webinar series, has been running for over 22 years and has an extensive readership amongst contractors, builders, developers, also distributed across 800 cities throughout India. The company that publishes Construction World also offers digital services like social media, website creation, and you can contact Priyanka at asapinfoglobal.com. ASAP Info Global also publishes other magazines like Equipment India, Indian Cement Review, Infrastructure Today. And I'm editor-in-chief of these magazines, and my name is Pratap Padode. So here are the publications. As you can see on your screen, even we have engineering publications like Industrial Product Finder, Indian Textile Journal, and a publication that provides you information on project called Project Reporter. Now, before we start our discussion, we have a poll, audience poll. So before, I think this will trigger off our discussion, and therefore I've got this on your screen. You will see a panel where you can answer and choose. Why has the construction industry been slow in adopting technology? There are 5 reasons given for that, and you have to choose the reason that you think is the biggest reason, biggest factor in this slow adoption of technology. So manual labor is cheaper, therefore, or its lack of enforceability, or users are not aware of the benefits, or they're not trained on the job, or they lack education? And we'll tell you the answer of this poll in a few seconds from now as the audience begins polling. So yes, I think users are not aware of the benefits of technology seems to be a very strong reason that the audience feels. And I think we are nearly at, I can tell you, yeah. So 38% of the audience feels that users not aware of benefits of technology. And manual labor is cheaper, 21% feel that. And so these are the two prime reasons. So let's go on to our panelists now. And I would like Mr. Sen to take this question. Why do you think, Mr. Sen, that we have been so reticent in adopting technology in the construction sector? You need to unmute. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm on mute.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for offering the question to me for answering. I agree with you that, frankly speaking, the construction industry had been very reticent in adopting new technologies for a long time. But as the industry grew, particularly for Larsen and Toubro, I think the entire construction business in terms of revenue is roughly about 75,000 crores, today, and this is a massive amount. It grew every, we find that every about 5 years it doubles in terms of growth of the industry. So with so much of rapid growth, it is difficult for us to do everything by manual. We understood this about 10 years back. So unfortunately, we had a large exposure overseas in working for various international projects. So we understood how the world works. And we had been actually importing the technologies, machines for last 10 years and using it in India. It has given us fantastic results. I must tell the growth was particularly because of the machines that we used, kept on using, were more improved, more actually replacement of manual labor. At the same time, manual labor is required, but trust me, it is very short supply today. So what we have been doing, I must tell you, and I agree with you that on-the-job training or skilling is very important. At this point of time, L&T itself is having about 10 skilling institutes. I know Shapoorji, Pallonji has a few, and also HCC has a few. Likewise, many other companies who are big in the country, they also have their own skilling institutes. Plus, government also has started. So skilling is being done in a massive way, and Prime Minister has a special actually focus towards skilling. He's actually started the construction skilling, the NSDA, National Skill Development Council, in which I am also a member. So skilling is being done at the same time, but skilling was being done earlier in separate institutes. But today, what we have done for last 5 years, we are also going around to various sites with a team to skill the actually laborers on the job, because it's difficult for us to let the workers out of the site for a long time. So we actually train them at site for carpentry, for bar bending, for form work, for actually various electrician courses, safety, quality, a lot of, at least 15 trades are there where we give them training for three actually months with a certain 2 hours or 3 hours period every day, and the team stays there. This is one thing. We also put a small skilling institute or skilling building in the site. So we bring them down for a few hours, skill them and go back. And number two is that technology wise, we also have understood that unless we connect all the machines by Internet of Things, it's not going to really give you any purpose. I mean, fruitful purpose, it's not serve your purpose. So we connect excavators, graders, rollers, pavers, crushers. We connect them, and the wave bridges, we connect them up all together with the Internet of Things, which is done by us internally because we have L&T Next and L&T Digital, so they are actually working on that. So now, right now, we actually every day at any point of time you can monitor the productivity, the number of hours worked, started the machine but not worked productively also understand. We understand the fuel consumptions. We also understand that any pilferage is going or not, and we can pinpoint the equipment where we see there is some malpractice going on. If equipment is being used without productive means, we are able to take out the machine and redistribute the work. All these things are to sensitize the project managers to make sure they understand something is going wrong. Then we also understand that we have a lot of wastage in construction. Like say excavators excavate more than what is required. The pavers cast more than what is required. Thereby you have to break, redo and all that. Today we, through the cloud, we actually put the 3D drawings into the system. Like if I want to cut a complex shape in the excavation, I feed that into the excavator actually cuts that in the profile. This reduces the manpower, at the same time gives you more accurate actually things. Similarly, graders, pavers. Number 3 is that autonomous machine, which is not come so far, is going to come anytime. So you will have a machine which is remote controlled. You will just feed in and it will go around the site and do the work and come back. We are using also DGPS controlled rovers. Earlier we used to use dumpy level or theodolite to take levels. Today the rover will go around and take the levels and give you a feedback directly to the control room. This I am already using in various sites. This helps us to make no mistakes in terms of the level of the you know, that kind of in survey they'll give you accurate level. Then we are also using 3D printing. This is very latest now. So we have brought in about 4 or 5 3D printing machines, large. We are now actually printing toilet blocks or various independent units. Trust me, if very soon I am thinking the girders, the precast elements will be printed by 3D printing, which is not very far away. A lot of work is going on in design to suit that. We are also doing geofencing of various equipments, like say transport vehicles, conveyance vehicle. So we know whether this guy is going somewhere outside without where it is not supposed to work. This is being done. And we are also building a large digital database. Actually, all our workers, all our workmen, we give them a separate card. We have the other card. We have their bank numbers. If somebody doesn't have, we do that. By this process, we have formed a large database. Even if we leave a labor, we can call them back anytime to know where they are to mobilize them. Attendance is being now recorded not by manual counting, but by biometric. But now after the COVID has happened, we have to do the thermal scanning and also do some kind of a attendance through walkthrough process to find out maybe by eye recognition and all that. This also can be done. Ultimately, technology, if we use in an extensive way, it is going to be cheaper for us than the conventional way. And materials are being traced. Today, I mean, earlier, if you complete a site, you'll find out, if you dig, you'll find a lot of reinforcement rods, a lot of bolts, a lot of nuts, a lot of pipe fittings are actually buried inside under the earth because people not really bothered to trace them. Today, we are trying to put RFIDs into every parts so that we are able to track them where they are. Even if it is buried, we'll be able to retrieve them. I mean, that's how we're using it. I'm telling you, it's a constant process, and a lot of the companies like Tata-Hitachi, like big companies are coming up and helping us to implement them. Okay, so this nutshell, actually, I can tell you a lot of things because it's a very favorite subject of mine.
Right.
Thank you.
We'll come back to you, Mr. Sen. Thank you. I have actually had the opportunity of seeing your command control center where that time that Moderator stadium work was going on, and how you all can keep an eye on all the sites and the equipment, and even a person not wearing his proper harness or his safety, his safety gear can be cited. And I could see the CEO even inform the people and site supervisors that they ought to take care of that. So I think, yes, you all have seen the benefits of technology. And you did mention that even measuring the productivity, I think that's an important thing. If you can measure productivity through technology, you can definitely derive benefits of technology. Let me come to Mr. Sandeep Singh. I think Mr. Singh, you have a factory which is now restarting. making construction equipment, Tata-Hitachi, and then now you require in COVID-19 scenario some contact-free work, hygienic sites, safety protocols, new SOPs in bringing in inwarding goods and worker transportation. So how ready are we? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so we had, thank you very much, Pratap, for inviting us over for today's seminar. I believe in today's time, it is very, very important to interact and share our best practices with everyone. So we actually started preparing ourselves immediately after lockdown, that tomorrow when we restart, how we are going to prepare ourselves, equip ourselves, because world is going to be different. So we gauged all the safety precautions, what we need to take in terms of man, machine, and material, and started making our SOPs. So we released restarting the SOPs about 10 days back across the organization. Basically, taking all safety precautions. Most important is for our people, maintaining distance, cleanliness, disinfection, and then for movement of our material, and also visitors who are coming to our plants, how we will be entering them into our site. So we have made visual SOPs. We have clearly defined roles and responsibility of people across the organization, starting from security to housekeeping to every employee. And we have made task team to monitor these activities. So we are also photographing all these things, whether we are meeting all standards or not. And then we have shared these practices with our dealers and our vendors. So we did a trial run because we were allowed to open our plant partially during the lockdown. And the first thing what we did is a pilot run for safety. So at both the plants, Kharagpur and at Dharwad, we have implemented our safety measures. So when we started on 4th, practically this week on Monday, it worked very well. And prior to that, we had a meeting with our dealers, dealer council, dealers, vendor council. The first thing we shared was all safety standards. We followed government guidelines. We looked at best practices of other countries because they had already started before us. So I think today it is working well. This is the most important activity what each manufacturer has to undertake to maintain safety standard compliances, government compliances, and you have to redo it again and again. Every day you have to educate your employees, make them realize that how important it is to maintain safety standards. So we want them to maintain these safety standards not only when they leave their home, but we also want them to maintain when they are living at their place. So I think we have implemented them. There are always some hiccups, but we are doing quite well in that.
Because the nature of each business is different, and therefore the SOPs for such protocols can be different. Do you think for the construction equipment industry there can be some SOPs for the safety during the COVID pandemic?
Yeah, so very valid question, because we are worried because many of our engineers are at site where we have full maintenance contract, whether they are mining or inquiries, and our customers, we are worried about our customers, their people. So we are conducting training programs at each site, and we are actually approaching our customer that if you need any help from our side, we are ready to come to your place, educate your people, take on the job training for them. We have already done it at our sites, and we have sent the communication, but communication we have sent to all our important customers, and you're right, we need to, in construction industry, the SOPs will be much different than many other industries. Each industry will have their own SOP. We are worried about migrant labor today who are working at the site, whether they are maintaining all the safety standards or not, how they are being transported, how are they dressed up, whether they are using masks, whether that mask is a new mask or an old mask, they are using the same mask, whether they are washing their clothes or not, whether they are maintaining distance, everything we need to look at. So it is very, very important for us to put huge emphasis at sites.
Right. Let me go over to Mr. Brijesh Shah. He is Managing Director of Fuji Silvertech Concrete, and it's a joint venture with the Japanese Fuji Group. I think that was one big move that he made to bring, concrete, and I think precast is an essential technology and I think you'll have already got a second plant going. So Brijesh, I would like you to address this question as well. How are you managing getting your factory, plant, etc., getting going during this time?
First of all, greetings to all panelists and participants. It's a pleasure to be a part of this elite panel. So just last week we have started. And first thing what we have done, first 2-3 days we started educating our all people. What is the importance of this situation? What you have to do? What are their standards to come in factory? So as per our detail, the two things is very important. It's the self-discipline and self-hygiene criteria. Each and every individual who are working in the organization. So two way we can make it successful. One is putting hygiene standards, and the second is educating all people on daily basis. We at Fuji Silvertech are strictly following all hygiene protocol standards, starting from all entry points. If we remove any suspicious individual itself from entry point, the 70% work is done. While inside premises, mask sanitization, social distancing is must. Especially closed area like canteen, admin, we are doing 2-3 times of complete sanitization, and all the equipment like mold and the forklift and everything, we are doing almost 2 times of sanitization. So just right now we are working 30% capacity and checking that what are the improvement and some other hygiene protocols are required. Let's see. And after all, of course, although these are the done, still I feel people should be more responsible and they should act as a responsible citizen.
Yeah, I think it is one that about your second plant. I wanted to know also. You were, I think, also coming up with a second plant for this purpose.
Yes, in Aurangabad, right now we have one plant in Padode near Ahmedabad, and the second plant is in Aurangabad. But we are delaying 3 months all this activity. Earlier, our earlier plan was to start was from November this year. Now we are extending to almost April 2021.
Right. Right. I'd like to now, come to our favorite one topic of innovations and jugaad. Generally, backhoe was not considered the lead equipment that would sell in a market like India, but somehow backhoe has become the bestseller in India, and it is being used very, very innovatively in India. And I think I don't have the pictures right now, but one has seen the kinds of attachments that are used to a backhoe to be used very, very innovatively. And obviously, innovations in equipment have actually contributed to many companies which have actually adopted them and tried them elsewhere in the world. So I would like Mr. Dixit, are you there? Mr. Dixit, can you, we can't see you, but are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. You are not able to see me?
No, not yet.
Can you see me now?
No, I think you have to come on video.
No,
Yeah, your
I
video
have
is
come
not
on
on.
video.
I think
So you
video
can-
has to be switched on.
Yes, you
No,
are here.
no, it is okay. Yeah, we can
Yes,
see
please
you.
tell us about some innovations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, and all a very warm welcome. Pratap, before I answer you this, I think your
Okay.
first question was very, very pertinent. I would like to dwell on that for a while. If you consider from the manufacturing and construction, I think word over construction is lagging behind in adopting technologies. And there are multiple reasons. You had flashed some 5-6 points for picking up which is good, which is bad. According to me, okay, you may go by the percentage of them, but every one of them has contributed towards not construction industry adopting technology very well.
Right.
Whether it is clients and their concept of cost and architectural details, or whether skill sets available in the country, and whether innovation is happening in the field, or whether we are marching along with the innovation technology as well as the architectural detail in a manner that they are all in the sync manner, so that I think construction happen fastest. Now, if you look at from the major equipment point of view, like tower cranes or slip form or climbing platform, core walls, or construction equipment from the point of view of your batching plants and tower cranes and a lot of variety of the cranes. And I think India is almost what entire world is doing. They are using all the equipment which are available in the world. I think the issue is how we are really translating this integration of skilled labor versus the activity and the technology part. I think this combination is one thing which all are struggling. What Mr. Sen was referring to, I think there are two components of that. One is your adaptation of technology from the point of view of larger technology point, like your good equipments and your integration of equipment to do faster, and your logistics related challenges to be addressed, and speed of the work because of the transportation of things and the vertical rise and so on and so forth. And I think we have all those facilities as good as anywhere in the world.
Tell us
Also
about the innovations, Mr. Dixit.
Yeah.
I think you all have done a lot of innovations.
Yeah, and the second part is the soft technology, and that is innovation is one part of that. Now, before I come to innovation, I think let us understand one thing. There has been good change in the last few years on skills training. Earlier, it was only construction companies who were struggling to try to skill their people on their sites. I think now there are threefold skilling happening. One is, of course, government of India is taking great initiative where I am also a member. And I don't know how many of us are aware of this, but major company has given their 2-3 people in the pool of developing the curriculum and the training program from National Council of Skill Development. So we had given, L&T had given, and many other companies would have given to create a curriculum for skill development. So that is one part which has happened very, very well. Second part, there is a off-site training which is happening along with certain NGOs or your own initiatives. Like L&T has many training individual institutions, so as Shapoorji has many of them. And third very important part is on-site training programs. And fortunately, all three are now getting dovetailed into each other. So one is, overall skill set improvement in the national pool. Second is, a backward area where the skilled laborers are not available, but unemployment is very high, trying to address that catchment area to skill the people and then try to use them on your site. And also the third one is when they are on your site, how do you really create a skills for the particular activity so that it is bringing you great production. I think there's a good amount of work happened there. Now, how that skill development dovetails into technology as well as the speed and productivity in the construction. I think these are 3-4 elements which still needs to be addressed. Now, when we go on the innovation part, when we go on the innovation part, when we go on the innovation part of the story, now there are multiple innovations in this. One is, see, today's generation, and we have a lot of supervisors, and one thing is great about India is that even a very, very small guy in the country who is from the hinterland, he knows how to operate the, your smartphone. So in that sense, your foreman or supervisor, if you create an app, which Shapoorji has created apps, at the end of the day, he is able to capture the productivity on his phone. And that productivity of his particular activity goes directly into the central details. Be that is the client billing, or whether it is the overall execution of the activity cost, or is the total number of work done quantity wise, and also number of people engaged, and what is the production of number of those people engaged in producing those things. And that can be tracked on every single day basis. Now, this cell-based apps which are connected with the central server are not only in terms of productivity, and daily progress report, but also they are in terms of safety. Like if I give you an example, if I'm walking on the site as a supervisor, and if I find that there is some unfavorable safety practices are happening, or he sees some alarming safety lapses, the app has a very, very simple mechanism of just pointing out area number this, safety lapse this, and then app automatically sends the mail to all people concerned, the project in charge, the area in charge, and then after 3 days of not addressing that issue, it goes to regional head, and after 7 days of not addressing to that, it comes all the way to the CEO of the company.
So supervision, basically, it allows you to supervise.
It gives the red flags and triggers all the way up. Same is for the quality. Now the quality also does the same thing. Same way, I think. Look at. Yeah, sorry.
No, I just wanted to now address the same because Mr. Samir Malhotra also is running a an online portal where we are doing, people are buying equipment, selling equipment online. So I just wanted to go to him also and check with him what kind of innovations have happened there. Samir, would you like to come in on this?
Yeah, I think so Dixit has covered everything what I wanted to speak. So I have to speak in a very different way now. I have to really think again what I should speak. And I think the word jugaad has been given by India itself to the whole world. And when I have so many my friends and my ex-colleagues from all over the world, and they knew the word jugaad, and they knew it came from India. I think not only backhoe loader is definitely the very big different dimension to the whole world. The way we use the backhoe loader, not only for its own uses, we also use for excavation, even for compaction, even for dozing. So nobody in the world could have imagined that backhoe loader has so many uses which India does right now. And and these things are mostly happening not in the project sites, which is run definitely by Mr. Sen or Mr. Dixit. These are all mostly happening in the sites which is run in the remote areas, in the rural areas, in the smaller sites and all. And this is where majorly of these things are happening around. Another example is like sometimes people use and laugh for what is happening. We saw a tractor with a trolley, which is used for even taking away all the construction material, and most of the sites are using it. Is it tractor with the trolley is anything which has been made by for the construction industry, or is it jugaad? So, and it's a very, very famous. It's been used all over the country in a very, very easy ways. Another example could be your cranes. You can see in the international markets, a rough terrain crane, all terrain crane, hydraulic truck cranes. There could be so many nomenclatures and different kind of cranes available. If you come to India, we talk about pick and carry crane. We talk about mobile crane, which does all the things for everybody and all kind of uses. I'm talking about 2006, if you can recollect. And I took this pick and carry crane to Dubai for auction, and people laughing, like all over Middle East contractors and construction companies were there, and the auction when happening, and they were laughing, what is this miniature is standing, and what exactly is doing from India? And I saw in next 1 year that become famous. It started going to Dubai sites, it started all across, and started going to all over the world, and it became a famous thing all over the world. So this is really a jugaad, which came from not from we wanted to do it. It's a need of the hour for the country. We don't have a payouts in the construction sites which can support the world-class equipments all the time. So I think this is what exactly is happening. And as I rightly said, it's your need, which is the mother of all invention. And for us, jugaad is not jugaad. It is basically invention, what we are doing over a period of time. And that's the only thing I think I wanted to add up to the Mr. Dixit point. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Samir. Do we know that we spend India actually wastes 1 trillion rupees or 1 lakh crore every year because of delayed projects? So that's the cost burden on the country when we are talking about getting a package from Indian finance minister, and 1 lakh crore we are already wasting in delayed projects. So I think speed in construction is very, very important. And I want to come to Mr. Brijesh, because I think his technology can actually facilitate speedy construction, but they have obviously. So Brijesh, can you say that what modular construction strategies about accelerating projects?
I think Mr. Dixit.
Before Brijesh comes in, I think I want to add one thing on Samir.
Yeah.
Jugaad is great in short term. Okay, but there's a flip side to this, and I have witnessed this happening, because jugaad also needs absolutely safety related
Caution.
mindset. Yeah, caution. And unfortunately, as a nation today, and because people are unskilled and I think they are not very well trained, I have seen many mishap happenings because of this jugaad not really implemented or working well from the point of view of carrying it out effectively. And I think this is one thing, jugaad gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of doing activities through one machine or one backhoe or tractor trolley and so on and so forth, which is not basic definition of that equipment, and it works well. But one wrong step somewhere, I have seen fatalities. I have seen fatalities happening. I have seen a lot of wastage of material happening. I have seen a lot of mandates are getting lost because of this. So jugaad is good, but jugaad with a right mindset in terms of how do we take care of the safety also while operating on the jugaad is extremely important. I just wanted to add on that. But I have one wonderful example of Indian jugaad which we did in Dubai, and which I want to share with all of you. When we are doing this table form, and the Westerners have this habit of having that leveling instrument putting on the table and trying to find out the level of the slab. So one of the foremen found that it is taking too much time for this guy to adjust the props underneath, because it covers only 1 meter by 1 meter kind of a leveling. So foreman or supervisor from our side expressed, why don't we do a line dory kind of thing, from one corner to another and one corner to another diagonally, fix that line dory, giving a gap of say 1 inch ply, and run the ply through the line dory continuously. And if it covers without any gap between from one corner to another corner, or wherever there is a gap, just ask the fellow below there to do some adjustment on props below there to make it aligned. So what was taking 2-3 hours time could happen in 15 minutes. So that's a wonderful jugaad. I mean, wonderful jugaad from the point of view of adopting it thing which is safe, but at the same time faster and more productivity. So there are multiple level of jugaad. One is with the equipment, one is from the practicality point of view. And
no, I think what you are saying about being guarded about it, and I don't know whether insurance would cover something when you use an equipment for a purpose which is not necessarily the purpose that it was intended for. But we'll move on to speed in construction. We have nearly 1,200 attendees right now in audience, and I think we need to give them more speed. So Brijesh, would you come in and tell us about modular construction strategies?
I think there is no doubt that module construction and precasting strategies can easily help accelerate all the projects. Precasting can be parallel work and an offsite. So SL of allocating separate land area, providing the material, labor, and all associated activities are fully saved for the developer since the products are done offsite. There are many advantages of modular and precast strategies, but mainly it saves time and it assures better quality. And I think we have supplied to almost all reputed projects of Shapoorji, Pallonji, and L&T like Moderator Stadium in all the Suzuki and the Hondas and everything. So I think for this question, these two people like Dixit and Subodh Dixit can give you better answer specifically on this question.
So Mr. Dixit, can we have you on modular construction? What benefits we can really get which we have been missing out on?
Oh, okay. Actually, L&T, frankly speaking, we keep on working with this. What can be done back end, not in the site. That is why our late Mr. A. Ramakrishna, who was the head of our construction, he was the first man many years back start precasting, post-tension, precasting, pretensioning. He was a big actually canvasser for that, and we followed him. Earlier, what happened, the precasting had another advantage. The excise duty, disadvantage, excise duty actually was actually, if it is not done in a place which is next to the site, if you do it in a remote place, there is to charge excise duty on that. Okay, so we earlier used to put all our precasting element factories or plants next to a big site and you keep on doing it. Today also it's been done. Now that also is over because GST covers all kinds of taxes, so no more benefit or disadvantage for doing it anywhere. So precasting or modular construction is very good. Today all the bridges you see, they are having segmental elements. They are being put there one by one and threaded through the actually ropes, your pre-stressing ropes to make it a full bridge. Okay, that is actually modular. Okay, and also if you know, we have been making low-cost housing by making walls, roofs, panels, everything, precasting and putting it there at site, all modular. And whatever we can convert into modular is good for us because today we have the jobs have become lesser in time. Earlier I used to get 3 years, 4 years for a job. Today the same job comes to me for 2 years, 18 months. Can you believe 18 months? An entire flyover has to be constructed. It is not possible until and unless you do a lot of modular things. So we are a big canvasser. 3D printing machines is the future of the constructions for sure. And more you can convert into modular, more and more you can benefit in terms of productivity and your timely completions. And trust me, if a job is finished in time, you will make money for sure. There's no problem, no doubt
So,
about it.
Mr. Sen, I would like to ask you, there was some year or 2 years back, there was this news about a Chinese company having built in 15 days some 50, 60 floors. Obviously, they used precast and assembling of various, components of the building and placing them there. And I think we've had some examples, not very safe though, I think, even in North India. Is that what you're referring to? That can be done?
I'll tell you that actually rocked our building and factories department in a big way. Mr. Nayak actually told all of us, look at this, China is doing or not doing. Actually, we take roughly about 3 days for casting from one floor to another floor. 3 days. You can see if today I cast a residential property, if I cast the floor, the next slab will cast in 3 days to 4 days. We were earlier doing it in 12 days, 13 days. And it is a constant endeavor how to reduce. I can reduce it if and only if I use a lot of precasting elements. But Chinese records are to be questioned because I don't know. But suddenly this has really rocked the entire actually construction real estate business, and we are trying now to every time we do a new project try to better the record. So we cannot do 19 days a 20-story building for sure. I am sure foundations were done earlier. What they did was that when everything was ready, they just came and put it up. But still, it's a commendable thing because they must have used many cranes, many kind of gadgets, like say many kind of transport vehicles customized for a particular purpose. So for a mass scale use for doing business, we got to see how it can be repeated or not for one-time basis. But definitely it's the future. Modular construction is the future. We have to revert to modular construction. Either you buy it from market or you make it yourself. If you are a large scale constructor having a lot of production, you do it in-house. If you are one time doing a building, then you buy it from market. Whichever way, modular is the way.
So, drone technology is, of course, now also being used even in our COVID situation. In fact, some startups in India have come up with drones which can actually administer people and figure out with thermal imaging which people have got fever and, sort of sorting this out. So obviously in drone technology also been extensively used in construction and video analytics. Are any of these technologies, Mr. Singh, are they coming somewhere pervading into our equipment business? Video analytics, smartphone apps.
So, when we go to our headquarters and see the sites in Japan, Europe, Australia, these are the standard things fitted with the equipments. Like today, AI is the standard fitment in the machine. Drones to measure the size of the site. Synchronizing machine with the loader is very common. Fleet management, overall fleet management with advanced technology is very common at all the sites, like what Mr. Sen and Subodh were talking about. This is, if you go to Australia, Europe, Japan, I think this is the time. I'm very happy to see that, in L&T or in Shapoorji, Pallonji, and even in Tata project, we have seen they are using advanced technology. But I still feel that we have to travel long distance. Most of the contractors in our country are not yet adopting advanced technology. I can tell you, even to use our telematics, what we call on-site or insight on our equipment, only big contractors are using it. The other contractors, we have to go and remind them that there is an alert on your mail, on your iPhone. Please make sure that your machines are properly maintained. It's our duty. We are going to site and training them. Like they talked about, skill up is very, very important. So we are conducting all those kind of training for our customers, but adopting advanced technology and equipment is in other parts of the world, and all equipment manufacturers have developed this technology, and it is being used, and it reduces the project time, cost, efficiency, and working very well. So those are my comments in terms of construction equipment.
Right, now we've come to the, before we go into this next poll, let me also say that, let me thank our sponsor, Fuji Silvertech Concrete, who are the presenting sponsor for this webinar. Thank you, sponsors, for sponsoring this and making this happen. Let's move on to the audience poll. Next one, what are the biggest benefits of technology? So the options are again mentioned on your panel. Please look towards your panel and see the options. You got to choose one option, which is the biggest, which amongst the four given there is the biggest benefit of technology, whether it increases speed of construction, quality of construction, productivity, or enhances safety. And we should know the answers so that can help us discuss this further in the next session. Okay, so yeah, we're getting the answers now in 2 seconds. Yeah, so 25% of the people will, increases productivity is 52% of people feel it increases productivity. Great. And the second highest, 25% feel it increases speed of construction. So let's come to the next, session as to how digital is construction now. So BIM has been used in over 75% in the European countries, and a lot of benefits. Every 2 years, the benefits, people are getting benefits have just doubled. And I think it's sort of reaching some stage in India as well. But let me ask Mr. Dixit, how digital is construction now in use of all these technologies, as mentioned on the slide, site surveys, inspection, assessment, project progress. You already mentioned through your apps you were able to supervise, but what about some of the other uses?
Let me go one by one on what is coming in the screen. BIM, we are using BIM for last 8 years. I think the biggest challenge is one who is not actually doing EPC contract complete. And the disadvantage of BIM, which is not because of the BIM, but because of the various stakeholders, whether they are using the BIM or not. Whether it's a MEP consultant or your architect, or whether you're structural designer, and as a contractor. Now, if all that is under one roof, and if you are having the BIM, I think you have integrated everything which goes to help you work better through BIM, because BIM gives you 3-dimensional of the product from day one. So there are two very, very fundamental advantage which comes from them. One is you are able to see through how the product is going to look along the way when you are doing the construction, so that prime the person on what could be the pitfalls during the construction and what could be the steps he should be adopting right away before the construction starts. So the planning becomes better. Second is that most of the time when we look at products during the construction, there are a lot of conflicts. And when I'm saying conflicts of activities like MEP and false and finishes and so on and so forth. And then we all are and we all are getting stranded to sort them out on the go while things are happening, and we find out that there's something hindering your layout and so on and so forth. through BIM, you know on the very first day how is the entire routing going to happen, how is the entire positioning and the scaling of every component is going to happen. This is the second advantage which happens. Third advantage is you are able to precisely take out the quantities which are required for your project to execute. So somebody just in few minutes back mentioned about quantities going haywire, and then you start indenting for more quantities, and then they go waste. I think here you have an opportunity of ordering exact quantity. So that is not really going to give wastage in your product. Also, it will give you the inventory control, and hence you have a better control on the cash flow management because you know when what is required. Fourth advantage which you get from BIM is while you are doing your review meetings, you exactly know because you juxtapose your BIM model day or week to week or month to month along with what you have physically done on the site, and you are able to compare both the images and identify where you have gone wrong, whether you have gone wrong on some critical path or whether you have neglected certain things which has not really translated on the ground as per the BIM program. So there are wonderful things which are available through BIM. I only hope that all the agencies who work on a project, if they all adopt BIM, it will be making the life much easier for a contractor who is not an EPC contractor. We are in an organization having the BIM.
Right. Let's go to Mr. Sen. What about site inspections, Mr. Sen? Site survey, site inspection.
Okay, you are talking about site inspection using BIM?
Using drones.
Like?
Drones
okay,
and...
oh, my God, drone is like a blessing in our life. I remember I had paid for a job called this and near actually Udaipur, Kishangarh Udaipur Ahmedabad road project. We bid it for package number 3. There we had a area which could not be accessed by any kind of logical means. It was sometimes in 2013. So we had put the survey team, they couldn't access. We had some data and we went for bidding. It was wrong data. That time drone was not there. Today I have drone. Even if I have a clean road, I run my drone with the kind of volumetric actually software which actually takes photographs and able to know the elevations, able to quantify. Today without drone, using drone, I don't bid for a single job because that gives me a real picture about the obstructions, the amount of levels differences are there, the kind of intricacies in various. You can also zoom in to find out. Zoom has come in a blessings. Also, we are going to extend zoom for site inspections, for quality control, for operational maintenance also. No, in operational maintenance of a road which is running after the construction is over, we generally nowadays the roads are coming with 5 years of actually mandatory defect liability period for O&M, and we get paid for that. So we use extensively drone to understand where the potholes are there, where actually the crack is there, where there is a problem in terms of rutting of the surface of the asphalt, where there are cracks to see, and then once it comes with the exact GPS coordinate of that. So we do not do a manual survey. We'll run the drone and exactly know where it is with the coordinate. We go there and fix it, nothing else. So it's a lot of things there.
Right.
Yeah.
What about, let me go to Mr. Brijesh on, modular construction or precast obviously involves that if modules can be standardized, we can have, you can like a factory operate and create beams and so many others that can be actually assembled on site. So how have you seen this go about so far, Mr. Brijesh, in Fuji?
Especially in India, each state, each project, there is different sizes, different standards. If you go in Gujarat, there is a different sizes. In Maharashtra, each contractor there, because it's so they have sizes. Each and every contractor there is a different sizes. So if the sizes of precast and this module thing is to be standardized, it saves a lot of time on designing in mold and lot of cost. So it's a beneficiary to each and everyone. So if it's everything is standardized. If we compare India with other developed countries like Germany and Japan, the most of the infrastructure segments are standardized. While in India, each and every state is different. Like big contractors like L&T, Shapoorji, Pallonji, and they combine together, and government and all the consultants, and make it a standardized element for across the country, then it is a definitely benefit to each and everyone.
I definitely agree with him. Actually, if you go to an international country, a foreign country, and see the roads, they are so look nice. Because why it is nice? Because the elements that are there are all precasted and very well quality. Here we adopt cast situ, which is giving a very bad look. That's very, very important, to standardize everything. And everybody uses the same thing. Yeah.
And it helped also to another organized player come in this segment. Right now, if you see, either the big contractors are doing all precast, either there are very limited organized player across the country. Otherwise, it's all handled by all unorganized players. Gujarat, we see,
Even in case of equipment, they have been standardized across the world that you have to have these kind of safety standards, advanced technology, like what Mr. Sen you are talking about. I have seen in mining or in other construction sites in Japan, all equipments are synchronized. You measure the volumetric excavation of your site. It is synchronized with the machine, then the loader, and the work is done in a much faster way, and the quality of job is too good, and that is where we lose a lot of time in our country. So therefore, I think these things need to be standardized when you are tendering or when you are asking for equipment. So this will go a long way in our country. Yeah.
yes.
And we are
And I
ready to
think-
work with you. I can tell you, we are ready to post this lockdown when we are able to travel. I'll be very happy to bring our engineers and show you what we are doing, which you must have seen in other parts of the world. We can bring it over to India and demonstrate to you.
I look forward to that, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Now in infrastructure projects, we want to see that, most infrastructure projects can be really progressed in an accelerated manner because of the lockdown and the economy suffering. But can we carry out these infrastructure projects risk-free from infections? Is it possible? Mr. Singh, would you like to address this?
Yeah, I don't think we can make them risk-free, but we can reduce the extent to a large impact to a large extent, because in our country, the most important thing is educating our workforce, making them realize that how important is your life, how important are safety standards, and that comes with education, and that is where I think we need to play a role. Educate them, make sure that we are adhering to our standards. We have very clear SOPs. They are displayed all over, and we have monitors, who are monitoring their activities. Once we do that for some time, consistently, I think that will become a culture at our site, at our workplaces, even at home. I think that is education and skill training is very, very important.
Samir, would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, I think I'll continue on the initial part what you started. It's about all kind of innovation and technology which is coming in our way in the Indian market and Indian construction industry. And I think we can divide it into three parts. It could be related to the assets, it could be related to the engineering side, or it could be related to the labor side. And all three have a very different dimension to use it. And I think all of us are talking from different dimensions, and it's important. And I think initially Mr. Sen has covered it very well as far as assets parts are concerned. There, where he talked about monitoring sensors for repairs and maintenance, and he talked about spare parts management systems over there. He also about fuel efficiencies, controls, and how we can monitor all that stuff. And also on the safety, which could be even wearable bands kind of a technology we are talking about, and then tracking system with Mr. Dixit has talked about GPRS and all that stuff. I think these are all technology driven things which are bringing a change to the country, and we ourselves are working. Like for us in India, there are different areas throughout the country. There are few places, a few companies, a few areas where you need the latest of the technology, and then the country is so vast. We are into rural, we are into semi-rural, we are into all kind of urban areas. So we helping as a Shriram Automall into shifting this technology from one hand to other. It might be a technology which was 5 years back was good for a big construction company, which is now needed in the rural area, which is almost 10 years behind that side of the urban side. We're helping changing those hands from one hand to other. So that technology is still good for that rural area. So that exactly we need to understand in the country the different needs, and accordingly technological adoption should be happening in the country, and this should keep on changing, and safety definitely is paramount, and Mr. Singh has really put up a right point. But we need to understand all our sites, all our areas cannot pay out for the highest and best of the technology. But it's not that we should not change. We should keep on changing. We should keep on improving. And I think we have seen in the country a lot of things are already happening. And like we have brought now drone we are using for monitoring our 20-acre sites, where all drones are maintaining, where how people are coming for inspection and valuation and other things. They've been monitored through that, our control system. We are doing remote inspection, which is self-inspection and valuation systems we brought in. So there are different technological advancements. We brought complete digital technology in the present world, where in our customer base, nobody even touched anything on the digital side. They never knew it about smartphone and all. But last 1.5 months, everybody adopted. We are now 25,000 customer bidding online, which is a very big change. So it's all adoption as per the need. And I think India is ready for that, and things are happening on that side. That's all from my side.
We've got some questions from our audience, and one of the major concerns is that what is going to happen to the employment, of construction, of civil engineers across. Mr. Dixit, how are you looking at the post-COVID scenario in terms of recruitment? Yourself and Mr. Singh, I think you all are large employers for civil engineers. Can you take that, Mr. Dixit, first?
Yeah. Let's put this way. I think it has put a strain on entire system. Whether it is government, or whether it is a developer, or whether it is a construction company, or also the manufacturer. So one thing is pretty sure that this disruption because of the virus has brought a lot of challenges. Now, it will be very premature to say at the moment that how it is going to play out in terms of the employment scenario. But I want to at least convince and assure everybody out there that India is at a place today that next 50 years, if we go even with 10% growth in the country, full blast, the construction industry is going to grow even more than that. So this is a temporary setback, which is straining and putting a lot of stress on the system in terms of the cash flow, in terms of the project deliveries, in terms of availability of laborers and availability of funds to run the projects and so on and so forth. But I'm also pretty sure that in next 5 to 6 months time, things are going to get really in a path of recovery. And I think that's a good news I want to share with every one of the attendees. So there is nothing to lose heart on this. You are in right place. The century belongs to you, all the youngsters out there, or everybody who is associated with construction industry. Don't worry
Mr.
about
Singh,
your employment.
Yeah, Mr. Singh, what would you add to this?
See, actually, I must tell you, this is regarding the employment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I must tell you one thing. This question had come because I have also done a lot of webinars with all my staff. In one webinars, we covered 300, 400 people, various cadres across the entire site, across the entire company. We have told them very clearly, see, we work on projects, construction projects. Construction is the only thing that will go on. If anything has to go on, because the only way to bring back jobs, because if you do construction, a lot of multiplier effect is there in the cement industry, in the actually steel industry, and construction after the agriculture is the largest employer of government. I mean, if the construction boosts everything, there has to be projects, and everybody knows in a crisis situation, recession, the government always pushes the infra projects. Okay, because infra projects bring back the blood into the system by way of a lot. And you build something today, it will be used for a long time. Roads, the bridges, the actually metros, the rail lines and the high nuclear, whatever you do, is for actually economic prosperity of the country in future. Today, China, what it is today, China, because it took 10 years to build China and they multiplied every capacity by 10. Today, they are supplying to the whole world. So nothing to lose heart. Construction people in construction are very safe. There will be a lot of jobs in future. This is a temporary effect.
Right. I think both Mr. Dixit and
2 months will go and then everything will be back to normal. I'm very sure about it. Nothing to lose heart.
How many months, Mr. Sen? How many months do you see this coming back to normal?
2 to 3 months we'll be able to come back.
Right. So I think,
I
you know,
think
you'll have
normal will
already,
be another 3 months. So in 6 months it will come back normal, but all the projects are
right. I think Mr. Sen and Mr. Dixit are sounding positive that given the fact that we need so much of construction and that we can actually, you know, have these activities carried out safely with observing proper SOPs and protocol. And I think India needs to drive the economic activity through infrastructure. So I think they need to step up on this spending. Construction world on its part is doing what it can on technology. We have this slide in front of you where you can get industry updates on your WhatsApp. Either you can scan this barcode on the screen, you can click with your phone a shot of this slide and then, you know, carry out that instruction and receiving regular updates. And we have one poll where I would like the audience to now come on. So please look at your screens. Yeah, so what is the most important factor when buying construction equipment? I think a lot of the construction equipment industry would like to know whether it's availability, there is the price, it's the brand, is it immediate availability of spares or after sales service? What particular factor is the most important? And the voting is already begun. Yeah, and I think, yeah, after sales service is the most important. 50% feel that after sales service is the most important. Second, it followed only 17% says by price, and then availability of spares is the third most. So I think that's a big poll of more than 1,200 people giving you an answer like that, Mr. Singh. I think your industry should take that as a lesson for what is required after sales service. And with that, I'd like to just go one line from each of the panelists on what is your wish list from the government. Just one line, please, because we are already run out of time. Can we start with Mr. Brijesh?
Yes, I think after this, cash flow will be a great issue. I think government has to look after all the GST measures. The bank has to take the reduction of interest rate increase.
I think your audio is not coming so clearly. Could you just repeat in one line what you said?
I think first government has to recheck all GST things because right
GST.
now in state and everything is very high scale, like 28%, 80%.
Right.
Bank interest rate.
Okay. Samir Malhotra, please, your one line.
I think just to open up the sentiment, we need liquidity, we need more projects, and we open up the new all international markets should be opened up for us, and that's all. I feel sentiment change, everything is on for us.
Right. Mr. Singh?
Yeah, government must kickstart again the infrastructure projects, especially road projects, and put money on the ground, you know, the clearances, the hurdles to to execute those projects are taking a lot of time. So I think government need to kickstart those projects again.
Right. Mr. Dixit?
I think everybody is common on this fact that cash flow is the most important thing. Our request to government and the other agencies and the clients would be how do they infuse cash in execution so that the wish list for construction starts. But I'm very sure that infrastructure will be very, very, very important in government's mind today to kickstart. I think they should help us with a special allocation of funds for construction industry only.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Sen. We can't hear you, Mr.
You're
Sen.
asking me, Pratap?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, government must give more fiscal support, reduction of the repo rate, and also, clearing the payments of all the arbitration cases wherever it is already awarded, but payments are not being made. And moratorium on the interest and all that, whatever is there for at least next 4 or 5 months, there must be a moratorium to back end it to give more money to the system, number one. And number two is that projects must be announced, more projects. A lot of places are there. If you go to any website of NHI, or NHPC, or NHIDCL, or any other industry, you'll find out a lot of projects are there, only just to come on to the ground. And they're all very important. Push more projects, push more cash.
I think, yeah, major thrust on infrastructure and projects is what
And
everybody
also
needs.
clear
With
the pending things. That's all. These three things are very important.
Yeah. With that, we come to the end of
Hey,
the
here you go,
webinar. With that, we come to the end of the webinar. Thank you, all panelists, for joining this and providing your wisdom and experience. I'll just quote one last one, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, who was a Nobel Peace Prize winner from India. He said that India is the land of 100 problems, but mother of 1 billion solutions. So I'm sure solutions will emerge, and let's stay positive, let's stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you very much.